The Savannah does not choose the strong, it eliminates the weak. Every scar is a brush with death. Every roar is a warning. The survivor has nothing left to prove. The African savanna stretches endlessly beneath a punishing 100-degree sun. In the shimmering distance, the tallest silhouettes on Earth drift unhurriedly among the scattered acacia. Giraffes, 18 feet of living architecture, 2,650 pounds of muscle and bone. A panoramic, 360-degree field of vision sweeps the horizon from above. No threat can approach without their knowledge. By all logic, the tallest creature on the planet should be the safest. But today, a pride of lionesses has decided to test that assumption. To bring down a giraffe, the pride abandons the head-on charge altogether. Instead, they deploy a relay ambush, driving their quarry directly towards sisters lying concealed in the grass ahead. A life-or-death pursuit erupts. The giraffe holds the advantage in raw speed, but the lions overwhelm with sheer numbers. The moment one lioness flags, another surges forward without hesitation, systematically draining the prey of every last reserve of energy. Yet, at the critical moment, the giraffe makes a masterstroke. It veers sharply into a dense tangle of woodland. The treacherous terrain renders the lion's coordinated assault impossible. On the savannah, size is no shield. Tactics that is the weapon that matters. But peril on the savannah does not lurk on land alone. Beneath the murky current, hundreds of cold, unblinking eyes are silently tracking a herd of wildebeest. The Nile crocodile, an invisible predator whose methods could not be more different from the great cats patrolling the banks above. Lions rely on speed. Crocodiles rely on absolute invisibility beneath the surface. Their rough, dark mottled scales provide impeccable camouflage. They resemble nothing more than harmless logs drifting with the current. Those jaws deliver a catastrophic bite force, more than sufficient to drag any large creature to the riverbed. Wildebeest desperate to slake an unbearable thirst, each one capable of drinking roughly 2 gallons in a single visit. The herd gathers in confusion, jostling nervously at the water's edge. Many have never encountered a crocodile in their lives. The crocodile is in no hurry. It sinks beneath the surface, invisible. A wildebeest ventures one confident step deeper. The wildebeest lowers its head to drink. The strike detonates in an explosion of white foam, a tenth of a second. Jaws lock onto the victim and wrench it into deep water, leaving the rest of the herd trampling over one another in blind panic. It is over. But a crocodile does not savor its prize alone. Other crocodiles converge immediately. Together, they execute a series of savage death rolls. Why? Because beneath the river's surface, tearing it apart, dividing the spoils among hundreds of ravenous mouths, that is the most brutal chapter of all. While the river churns with the frenzy of dismemberment, on dry ground not far away, another battle over food has already begun. Spotted hyenas materialize from the east, jaws capable of pulverizing bone, stomachs that absorb up to 99% of a carcass. Catching the scent of blood from an unguarded kill on the open grassland, the hyenas descend upon it like a cyclone. There is no order, only frenzy, and those blood-curdling, whooping shrieks that tear the silence apart. From the sky above, other sharp, cold eyes have already locked onto the target. White-backed vultures begin their descent. They are the Savannah's most formidable sanitation crew. Wingspans exceeding 8 feet, hooked beaks probing into the tightest crevices to strip away every last shred of remaining flesh. Hyenas crush the bones. Vultures scour the scattered remnants of meat. Between them exists an uneasy, unspoken arrangement. Hyenas rip open the tough hide, and vultures consume what the hyenas discard. Nothing is wasted. The hyenas melt into the scrub, bellies distended, leaving behind a squabbling mass of vultures fighting over the final splinters of bone. On the savannah, no victory is ever complete. Strength, stealth, or numbers, every weapon exacts its price. Nothing earned is ever safe. Tomorrow the predators will strike again, and the hyenas and vultures will be waiting. But the African savanna is not the only place where such laws are written. Thousands of miles away, across the Atlantic, a rainforest harbors a struggle more merciless still. Here, the battlefield extends not merely across the ground, but deep beneath the water and high into the canopy, nearly 200 feet above the forest floor. And here, even the most powerful predator must know fear. The Amazon, where every stratum, underwater, ground level and treetop, constitutes a separate front line. And across all fronts, a single rule prevails. Today's predator may become tomorrow's prey. Along a sun-drenched riverbank, a dappled golden form moves without a sound through the dense undergrowth. The jaguar, the apex predator of the Amazon food chain. The most powerful bite force of any cat on the planet, strong enough to puncture straight through a prey animal's skull. No other big cat on Earth possesses this killing technique. The skull-piercing strike is the jaguar's exclusive prerogative. Beside a shallow pool, a caiman basks in the midday heat. It does not know that from behind, a jaguar has closed to fewer than 16 feet. The pounce detonates. Forepaws clamp onto the neck. The caiman thrashes. Its tail lashes violently, but the bite has extinguished all resistance within seconds. The jaguar hauls the carcass ashore and melts into the jungle ruthless and immaculate. The jaguar's upper body musculature is powerful enough to drag prey weighing twice its own body weight up a steep bank, a feat no big cat in Africa or Asia can match. Caiman is a protein-rich, high-energy meal, but a perilous one. Every approach is a gamble. A tail strike can shatter ribs. Those jaws can rip open an abdomen. But Caiman is not the only quarry, and the jaguar is anything but selective. The capybara, the largest rodent on Earth, weighing up to 110 pounds. Sluggish, virtually unarmed, and with almost no ability to detect a predator approaching from the forest edge. The jaguar observes from the undergrowth. It selects its mark, a capybara that has drifted from the group, grazing absently. One leap, 33 feet in under a second. Jaws lock onto the nape. The capybara never has time to react. The jaguar drags its kill into the tall grass and vanishes. Capybaras are the jaguar's preferred prey during the dry season. They live in large herds along riverbanks, feeding on grasses and aquatic plants. As waters recede, they cluster around the last remaining pools, presenting the predator with a perfect opportunity. But capybaras are not entirely defenseless. Their razor-sharp incisors can slice through an attacker's skin. And when one individual sounds the alarm, the entire herd plunges into the water, where they swim far more capably than most land-based predators. Paws touch the bank. Water streams from the golden, spotted coat. She disappears into the forest, heading toward her cubs. The skull crusher of Caimans, the one-strike killer of capybaras. But also a creature that must risk its life every single day simply so that her young may survive. Concealed beneath a vivid carpet of duckweed on the shallow water's surface, an enormous killing machine lies motionless, awaiting its moment. The green Anaconda, sovereign of the Amazon swamplands, possessing the greatest body mass of any snake on Earth. It requires neither venom nor blinding speed. Its supreme weapons are absolute concealment and extraordinary hydrodynamic power. Dark, mottled scales merge seamlessly into the turbid water, transforming a serpent of some 20 feet into an invisible death trap. When an unsuspecting capybara steps down to drink, Jaws, lined with hundreds of recurved fangs, plunge deep into flesh, locking down against every desperate attempt to break free. Instantly, colossal coils of muscle cinch tighter, ruthlessly crushing the prey's ribcage, a fraction more with each exhaled breath. The appalling pressure of the death squeeze severs all blood flow to the heart and brain, extinguishing life in mere minutes. Hyper-flexible jaw joints dislocate to permit the anaconda to swallow the carcass whole, storing a vast reserve of energy sufficient to sustain months of fasting. Sinking once more to the murky riverbed, the supreme hunter slips into a prolonged torpor, maintaining absolute dominance within this unforgiving ecosystem. Along the vegetated riverbank, where sunlight strikes the water's surface at full force, a different sound rises, piercing, urgent, and unmistakably hostile. The giant otter, the longest of all otter species on the planet. The densest fur in the entire mammalian kingdom, every square inch of skin bearing hundreds of thousands of individual hairs, creating a flawless insulating layer in the cool river water. Each otter bears a unique white throat patch as singular as a fingerprint. It is how researchers identify every individual. They live in family groups, bonded clans, communicating through an astonishingly sophisticated vocal repertoire. But the true power of the giant otter reveals itself most dramatically when territory is violated. A caiman surfaces abruptly in the still lake, directly where the pups are splashing in the shallows. In an instant, the otter family transforms into a coordinated combat unit. With no retreat possible, the entire adult pack surges forward, pinning and ultimately dispatching the crocodilian through the sheer force of collective fury. When the family rests, they rotate sentry duty on the riverbank, eyes ceaselessly scanning the jungle's edge where a jaguar could materialize at any moment. Every life lost is a severed thread in the intricate ecological web of the Amazon River system. In the contest between caiman and giant otter, individual strength does not determine the victor. Solidarity and kinship do. But as the dry season tightens its grip, both caiman and otter must confront a common enemy: scarcity. Bleached sandbars emerge in the riverbed where, only months ago, the current ran 16 feet deep. Fish migrate upstream in search of deeper water, but the vast majority become trapped in shrinking mud pools that contract with each passing day. The stench of mud and the searing heat of the dry season force the Amazon's creatures into the open, revealing a vast army poised and waiting upon the clay walls. The scarlet macaw, distinguished by a brilliant band of golden feathers sweeping across its wings, and a bare, ghostly white face, spreads a wingspan of over 3 feet, its blazing crimson commanding the entire tropical sky. Under a punishing 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the river shrinks, compressing thousands of creatures into a desperate, overcrowded arena of mud. In the first light of dawn, the scarlets descend in a frenzy, their steel, hard-hooked beaks scraping and gouging at the clay walls, extracting the vital sodium that neutralizes the toxins locked within the forest seeds they have swallowed. Without these great seed sowers, the forest canopy would wither, triggering a cascade of collapse across the entire ecosystem. Amid the rising stench of decay, one rule endures above all others: no creature here is safe from the merciless food chain. Yet the bloody struggle along the riverbank is only half the story. Nearly 200 feet above, the scarlet macaw's kingdom unfolds an entirely different theater of survival. The Amazon canopy is a vertical metropolis where precious shafts of light pierce through the leaves like scattered flecks of gold upon an ocean of deepest green. Punching through that living dome stands the saber, a biological skyscraper, rising proudly to claim a monopoly on sunlight. The relentless battle for light drives epiphytes to crowd every inch of bark, enduring surface temperatures that climb to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. High above, the Amazon's symphony plays on without pause: the howl of monkeys, the shriek of parrots, the relentless drone of insects, a ferocious pulse of life, rising defiantly from death itself. And at the very summit of that world, a creature sits motionless upon a cyber branch, a colossus of a tree, soaring more than 130 feet into the sky. The Harpy eagle, the great assassin of the heavens, the female weighing up to 9 pounds. Rear talons measuring 5 inches long, rivaling the claws of a grizzly bear, delivering a crushing grip of 500 newtons, enough to shatter bone on impact. Those short, broad wings were not designed for languid soaring, but for threading through dense canopy with unmatched agility. Every 2 to 3 years, they raise a single chick, the slowest reproductive rate of any raptor on Earth. Each fragile young life represents an enormous biological investment where every hunt determines the survival of an entire generation. From hundreds of feet above, those lethal eyes have already locked onto a target in motion. A troop of monkeys forages obliviously the noisiest, most cunning residents ruling the Amazon canopy. Forward-facing eyes grant monkeys impeccable depth perception for leaping between branches, but create a fatal blind spot along their flanks. Concealed beneath the dense leaf cover, the troop remains safe, but the instant one steps into open space, it falls squarely into the crosshairs. The harpy eagle wastes no energy in pursuit. It watches with cold calculation, measuring and waiting for the precise moment its quarry is most exposed. It plunges like a bullet punching through a narrow gap in the canopy directly beneath the searing midday sun. The alpha male erupts in a piercing alarm call that shreds the silence and reverberates across the vast forest. The entire troop reacts within 1/10 of a second, scattering formation and fleeing in chaos to shatter the aerial assault. In those life or death leaps, suspended nearly 200 feet above the ground, a single missed handhold, and the price is life itself. The strike misses its mark not because the eagle is slow, but because primates have evolved survival reflexes pushed to the absolute extreme. Yet this proud assassin of the sky has absolutely no concept of surrender. It draws itself inward, perching in silent stillness on an outstretched branch, coldly patient, awaiting the next lethal opening. Monkeys are far more than mere prey. They are the forest's greatest gardeners, dispersing the seeds that sustain life throughout the canopy. Every primate that falls means the Amazon permanently loses hundreds of future forest giants. But lurking on the branches just below the eagle's kingdom, another extraordinary creature reveals itself. The toucan, the Amazon's most flamboyant icon yet, behind that dazzling beauty, lies a survival secret built entirely on cunning. That enormous beak, ablaze with extravagant color, spans a full 1/3 of its body length, yet is astonishingly light. The structure is hollow within, reinforced by an intricate lattice of keratin, creating an instrument that is at once rigid and remarkably flexible. It is not merely a foraging tool, but one of the most perfect biological radiators in the natural world. In the stifling heat beneath the tropical canopy, blood coursing through the beak releases body heat without a single drop of sweat. Equipped with short, rounded wings, toucans are not gifted aerialists. They far prefer hopping and bounding from branch to branch. They are celebrated as the rainforest's most diligent gardeners, consuming fruit and scattering the seeds that breathe life into the forest floor. Yet the Amazon never tolerates complacency, and the toucan's radiant splendor is, in truth, a curse. That vivid plumage and raucous call transform it into the most conspicuous target against the deep green backdrop of the jungle. Engrossed in swallowing its prize, the bird leaves itself utterly exposed to the lethal gaze of eagles and hawks circling above. In this vulnerable, encumbered state, it must keep its reflexes razor sharp, for 1 second of inattention means being torn apart. An iron law, unwritten yet absolute, governs the rainforest. Today's ruthless plunderer may well become tomorrow's meal. In the Amazon, the most dangerous weapon has nothing to do with size. It is chemistry. The poison dart frog, 2 inches long, lighter than a coin. Yet its skin is saturated with neurotoxic alkaloids, a poison capable of inducing fatal convulsions in any predator foolish enough to bite. Those brilliant colors, electric lemon, vivid cobalt, are not designed to attract. They are the clearest warning nature has ever devised. Aposematic coloration, a visual signal that evolution has hardwired into the instinct of every predator. But here is the most astonishing detail. The toxin does not originate within the frog's own body. It comes from its diet, ants and beetles, laden with alkaloids. Poison dart frogs raised in captivity are entirely harmless. Without wild prey, there is no chemical arsenal. In dappled light filtering through the canopy, parent frogs carry tadpoles upon their backs, ferrying their young to safe pools cradled within the leaf axils of towering trees. Beneath the damp carpet of decaying leaves on the Amazon rainforest floor, the greatest underground agricultural empire on the planet operates in tireless silence. Millions of leaf-cutter ants march in unbroken columns, forming vast ribbons of green draped across branches, buttress roots, and the uneven forest floor. Their powerful mandibles function as precision biological shears, severing sections of fresh leaf weighing 50 times their own body weight in the blink of an eye. Yet, contrary to common assumption, these enormous leaf fragments are not the ants' food at all. They are a true army of farmers, hauling their harvest back to subterranean nests to chew, ferment, and cultivate a specialized fungus. Spreading deep underground to a depth of 26 feet, their domain is a subterranean megacity, where millions of workers are assigned tasks with absolute discipline and precision. Minuscule worker ants patrol ceaselessly, scrubbing away harmful bacteria and defending the vital fungal gardens from lethal pathogens invading from outside. Each leafcutter colony consumes a staggering volume of vegetation every day, equivalent to the grazing impact of a full-grown cow. Their extraordinary power derives not from lethal venom or savage aggression, but from collective spirit and flawless social organization. This intricate division of labor has transformed leafcutter ants into the foremost landscape architects, reshaping the entire plant cover of the tropical forest. Army ants, a merciless legion mustering between 500,000 and 2 million bloodthirsty soldiers. They refuse to build permanent nests. The entire colony is a living fortress in perpetual march. Their hunting front fans out across a breadth of 65 feet, sweeping with ruthless efficiency, leaving no escape. Their speed is a mere 50 feet per hour, ponderous, relentless, but once encircled, death is inescapable. When millions of mandibles snap shut in unison, they set a daily slaughter record of 30,000 lives. The supreme weapon of this regiment is a pair of sickle-shaped jaws, curved and razor-edged, powerful enough to shear through chitin as hard as steel. Combined with formic acid venom, they rip apart and dissolve every spider, scorpion, or luckless insect that stands in their path. There are no generals issuing orders. Millions of individuals are coordinated flawlessly through an intricate network of chemical pheromone signals. Despite their devastating destructive power, army ants are not mindless ravagers, they are the true biological engineers of the great forest. By ceaselessly clearing the forest floor, they regulate insect populations and cycle vast quantities of nutrients back into the soil. On this dim, teeming ground, the dominant force is not individual size, it is the magnificence of the collective. And just above that marching army, suspended from a branch, a creature barely moves at all. The three-toed sloth, 4 pounds, traveling 13 feet per minute. Upon its mossy fur, symbiotic algae drape a layer of green perfect camouflage amid the foliage. A metabolic rate 40 to 50% lower than any mammal of comparable size. Sometimes, the most effective survival strategy is simply not to move at all. On the Amazon forest floor, size does not determine power. Chemistry, numbers, and invisibility, those are the true currencies. But the dry season does not last forever, and when the water returns, every law is rewritten. Then the rains arrive, not a shower, but a tropical deluge that pounds without respite for weeks on end. The sky turns leaden grey. Water cascading from the Andes sweeps across the lowlands carrying a colossal burden of sediment, staining the entire current a muddy gold. The water level rises 33 feet above the forest floor. 33 feet, higher than a three-story building. $116,000 square miles of forest are submerged, transforming the Amazon into the largest water labyrinth on Earth. Ancient trails vanish beneath the flood. The boundary between river and forest is erased entirely. Ground-dwelling creatures are driven onto shrinking islands of dry earth or scramble to the highest branches their limbs can reach. The dry season's mightiest become the flood season's most vulnerable. Power in the Amazon belongs to no one, it belongs to the seasons. The Jaguar swims across its flooded territory, one of the most accomplished swimmers among all the world's great cats. But beneath the surface, piranhas have already caught the scent of blood from the prey clamped between its jaws. Caiman venture deep into the flooded forest. Among the labyrinth of submerged roots, they discover new hunting grounds where fish follow the floodwaters inland. Deep within the inundated forest, where sunlight is filtered by the canopy into dim golden shafts and the water runs dark as ink, a pale pink form glides between the drowned tree trunks. A spectral, blush-colored silhouette drifts silently past the ancient submerged buttress roots of the labyrinth. The Amazon River dolphin, the largest freshwater dolphin on Earth, possessing a body mass of up to 160 pounds. Utterly unlike their oceanic cousins, their cervical vertebrae have evolved to remain unfused, separate, and independent. This unique anatomical feature allows them to flex their necks a full 90 degrees, weaving with exquisite precision through the tangled matrix of submerged roots. When the great flood rises, they abandon the main river channel altogether, pushing directly into the inundated forest to hunt down the migrating shoals. In the churning, sediment-laden currents of the Solimoines, vision is an utter luxury, useless when visibility extends less than 2 feet. Rather than seeing, their long, tapered snouts function as surgical instruments, probing deep into the dark, silty riverbed. Rows of hypersensitive vibrissae lining the muzzle act as biological sensors, capturing the faintest vibration of concealed prey. The instant a target is detected, jaws armed with dozens of conical teeth clamp down, crushing through armored crustacean shells and smooth catfish scales alike. Despite their gentle, rose-tinted appearance, they are cold-blooded killers, powerful enough to crush even the most ferocious piranha. Each flick of the tail that rips through the turbid current is a testament to their absolute dominion over the merciless Amazon labyrinth. Surviving the catastrophic flood season is a monumental triumph, a battle to keep an entire lineage from being obliterated. The jaguar, that golden, spotted phantom that once sowed terror at the dry season waterhole, must now struggle through a maze of murky floodwater. Born one of the finest swimmers in the cat family. But beneath this vast inland sea, this is no longer its kingdom. Paws touch a rare island of dry ground. Water pours from the brindle coat, safe, at least for today. Even a supreme assassin must taste fear, must flee, must fight without ceasing merely to exist. It is evolution's masterpiece, a solitary temple guardian burdened with the singular duty of maintaining balance across an entire ecosystem. The pitiless dry season compresses every creature into shrinking mud. The furious flood drowns everything. And then the dry season returns once more. That blood-soaked cycle has endured for millions of years, and it will not stop so long as the Amazon still stands. Six months of incinerating drought, followed by 6 months of apocalyptic flood that engulfs all living things. Between those two extremes of annihilation, life has only one choice: evolve to adapt or vanish forever. The Amazon, nearly 4,000 miles of surging, turbulent flow, the mighty artery nourishing the green lungs of the planet. Not a single individual is expendable. Not a single species has the luxury of standing outside the wheel of fate. The raw muscular power of the Caiman is utterly crushed by the collective intelligence of a small band of giant otters. No throne is eternal. Extreme heat and humidity write the law, and the turning of the seasons erases every advantage. The harpy eagle slaughters from the sky to regulate populations, clearing space for the vegetation below to flourish. Hunter and hunted are imprisoned together within a web of interdependence, brutal yet exquisitely perfect. The Amazon absorbs tons of carbon every second. To annihilate this forest is to shatter the climate-regulating engine of the entire Earth. Sediment from the Andean peaks surges downstream to nourish a continent. This green empire does not belong to South America alone. It is the heartbeat of humanity. Giant otters teeter on the brink of extinction. Pink river dolphins grow ever scarcer. Harpy eagles watch their territory dwindle to fragments. Every life that falls is a shattered link, triggering a domino cascade of irreversible devastation across the ecosystem. To step into this forest is to understand one truth: no creature can survive in isolation. Life surges through nearly 4,000 miles of river like pure energy, wild, relentless, never still. Each species is a blood-stained note in the symphony of survival. Remove a single note and the entire melody collapses. To defend this fragile frontier is the only chance we have to keep the green heartbeat of the earth from falling silent. Today's ruler of the water may well be tomorrow's blood-soaked carcass. That is the Amazon, an invisible law that no one wrote, yet every living soul must bow before. Thank you for venturing with Nature Moments. Millions of mysteries, savage and sublime, still await discovery until the next battle. Within the low, tangled thickets, Nyala antelope move almost invisibly, spending 70 to 90% of their time hidden among the brush. They emerge only when dusk descends and darkness shields their footsteps, silent phantoms in a world of branches and moonlight. But today, a lioness has caught the scent. She drags her belly across the ground, inch by inch, through the undergrowth. She is not the only hunter here. Beneath the murky water, a Nile crocodile has already sensed the vibrations from afar. The secret lies in thousands of sensory organs embedded in its skin, known as isos, integumentary sensory organs. These mechanoreceptors span the crocodile's entire body, not just the jaws. That rough, seemingly clumsy hide is one of the most sensitive tactile systems in the animal kingdom, capable of detecting the faintest ripple on the water's surface. The nyala bolts before either predator can strike. Both lion and crocodile come away empty-handed. In Okavango, a pride of lions has done what no other population on Earth has been documented doing. They hunt in the water. These super lions possess forequarters more powerful than any other population. Muscles forged across generations of wrestling prey amid the currents. But some prey are ready to turn the water into a trench of counterattack. Chief among them is the African buffalo, a biological machine weighing nearly 2,000 pounds, clad in a natural armor of mud. Today, a bull weighing close to 2,000 pounds finds himself surrounded. Instinct drives him deeper into the flooded plain, borrowing mud and buoyancy as his shield. But he has miscalculated. For the Okavango pride, water is home territory. The hunters plunge straight into the lake. Though the buffalo thrashes and dives in a desperate bid to drown his attackers, those sodden masses of muscle cling on with stubborn resolve. After hours of struggle that drain every ounce of strength, the buffalo collapses. Total victory belongs to the aquatic hunters. The fall of this lone giant is the starkest proof of one law. In the wild, individual strength is never enough. Scientific studies have uncovered a primitive democracy among lions. When preparing to move, the adult females collectively gaze in one direction. The pride follows the choice of the majority. An elegant biological voting system operating effectively for millions of years before any human democracy was born. The warthog, a species that does not depend on surface grass like most herbivores, begins its excavation of buried treasure. A short neck and powerful lower jaw muscles allow them to dig ceaselessly, unearthing water-rich tubers and mineralized grasses from deep beneath the soil. On their wrists, thick callus pads have already formed during the embryonic stage, before the animal has ever touched the ground. Before birth, evolution has prepared the cushion for a life spent kneeling, one of the clearest examples of pre-programmed adaptation. They kneel for hours on the hard earth, heads bowed low, every sense focused on the meal below. But that absolute focus comes at a price: diminished vigilance. A lioness watches from the brush, patiently waiting for the moment her quarry's head dips lowest. The moment arrives, the lioness explodes from cover. Startled, the fast twitch fibers in the warthog's hind legs fire, launching it to 30 miles per hour in the blink of an eye. The warthog shifts its center of gravity abruptly, throwing a sharp turn to deceive the trajectory of pursuit. But it is futile. Experience and superior power allow the lioness to read every move. With one decisive lunge, the predator brings the warthog crashing to the dusty ground, ending the chase in swift finality. Across Africa, the lion's hunting success rate hovers between just 20 and 30%, a figure that surprises many. Seven out of 10 pursuits end in failure. But today, this lioness falls within that winning fraction. A blood-soaked feast awaits, a worthy reward to quell the lingering hunger of the entire pride. But Okavango is only one chapter. Hundreds of miles to the east, the greatest migration on Earth is underway. The Serengeti Mara ecosystem spans more than 11,500 square miles, connecting Tanzania and Kenya through an endless corridor of grass. Over 2 million creatures are on the move, more than 1 million wildebeest, 200,000 to 300,000 zebras. and countless gazelles merge into that ceaseless stream, small, nimble bodies diluting predator pressure through sheer, overwhelming numbers. They follow the clouds, the rain, and primal instincts passed down through millions of years of evolution. The migration stretches over 500 miles, with no beginning and no end, only an eternal cycle. Each year, more than 200,000 animals perish along the way, drowned, exhausted, hunted down. Yet, the migratory flow never stops. Within the migrating column, zebras serve as sentinels. Eyes positioned on either side of the head grant them nearly 360-degree vision without turning their necks. Ears rotate independently, sweeping every frequency from every direction. A keen sense of smell completes the biological sensor triad. An early warning system refined by millions of years of natural selection, unmatched by any technology humans have devised. Not strength, but unpredictability is the most effective shield on the savannah, a lesson predators learn and relearn without end. Lions do not chase the migrating column. They wait at strategic choke points, where rivers force the herds to funnel together. The Mara River, the bottleneck on the migration route, is where fear and chaos paralyze even the sharpest senses. But at Kruger, the arena belongs to an entirely different class of warrior. Giants that refuse to bow before any set of fangs or claws. The southern border of Kruger National Park, tropical storms from the Indian Ocean slam in with punishing force. Eight inches of rain pour down in a matter of hours. The Crocodile River surges over 16 feet in a single night, swallowing everything in its path. The line between power and fragility blurs easily. One storm sweeps through, one river rises, and the rules of the game change completely. The flash flood severs every familiar path, forcing land-dwelling creatures to risk trespassing into another's kingdom. This is the domain of the hippopotamus, short-tempered giants driven by an extreme instinct to defend their territory. They stand ready to confront any intruder, from buffalo to entire prides of lions. Few realize that the hippopotamus is the closest living relative of the whale. Their common ancestor lived roughly 55 million years ago. One branch moved into the oceans, the other chose to remain in Africa's rivers. Both evolved smooth, hairless skin, but along two entirely independent paths. Male hippos possess ivory canine tusks reaching up to 20 inches in length. When threatened, the jaw opens to 150 degrees, a display of force that compels most adversaries to retreat. On this continent, hippos are responsible for more attacks on humans than any other large mammal, surpassing both lions and crocodiles. "30 hippos lie submerged in the cold water, only eyes and nostrils breaking the surface, like living boulders scattered across the river." On the bank, a mother lion hesitates along the water's edge, knowing that entering the river means gambling the lives of her entire litter. With no way back, she steels herself and leads her clumsy cubs swimming straight into the killing waters. Every panicked splash from the cubs is an invitation to death. Beneath the deep current, the ruler of the land has never been more vulnerable. A bull hippo lifts its head, parting the massive jaws ever so slightly. But it merely watches with cold indifference. It does not regard the drenched, struggling pride as a threat worth acknowledging. The mother lion, exhausted, shepherds her cubs as they scramble onto the bank. They survive, not through strength, but because the hippo today chose not to act. Survival in the wild is sometimes nothing more than pure luck. Deeper inside Kruger, the rhythm of survival grows quieter but no less fierce. Here, life and death are woven together like threads in the same fabric. The arrival of a new life can be as striking as its departure, and in the case of the giraffe, both are filled with drama. A mother giraffe nears the end of a 15-month gestation, one of the longest pregnancies of any land mammal. The calf enters the world in a free fall of nearly 7 feet to the ground. The impact jolts every sense awake. Within minutes, trembling legs begin searching for balance. Born standing nearly 6 feet tall and weighing roughly 150 pounds. Ahead lies a life that may span 25 years if it survives the first few weeks. Two weeks later, the calf has grown large enough to enter the crosshairs of the most patient hunters. A group of lionesses begins to close in. The mother giraffe, capable of 35 miles per hour and a kick that can crush a skull, is no easy target for any predator. These lionesses are also mothers. They need food for cubs waiting back at the den. Maternal instinct clashes against maternal instinct, a brutal paradox that nature never allows anyone to escape. But this time, the lions back down. They sense the price of confrontation could be their own lives, set against a biological machine of staggering proportions. An adult giraffe is the tallest creature on land, weighing over 2,200 pounds and standing nearly 19 feet tall. That 6.5-foot neck contains just 7 vertebrae, the same number as in a human and in nearly every mammal alive. Each vertebra stretches up to 10 inches long. This architecture demands a heart powerful enough to pump blood under enormous pressure all the way to the brain, while severely limiting the neck's ability to twist and turn. But not every giant pays a price for its size. Some creatures wear their bulk like a fortress. And on the Savannah, nothing rivals the African elephant, the largest land animal on Earth, with an evolutionary lineage stretching back over 6 million years. Towering in stature and weighing tens of thousands of pounds, each elephant stands as an impenetrable biological stronghold, dwarfing every fang and claw any predator can muster. Yet behind that absolute physical power, the matriarch, the eldest female, is the true brain of the herd, She carries a cognitive map of every water reserve, every migration route traversed over decades of wandering. The matriarch identifies threats and coordinates the herd through infrasound, acoustic waves below 20 Hz, far beneath the range of human hearing. These sound waves travel through the ground for over 20 miles. Elephants standing miles away receive the message through the soles of their feet. An underground communication network that existed millions of years before humans invented the telegraph, requiring no wires, no electricity, no technology of any kind. An afternoon in Kruger, the matriarch strides through parched scrubland. Suddenly, a white rhinoceros steps into her path. The rhino weighs over 4,000 pounds, but makes the fatal error of standing its ground. Poor eyesight and a stubborn temperament lead it to misjudge its opponent entirely. The elephant amplifies a roar through her nearly 7-foot trunk, reaching 117 decibels, the equivalent of a thunderclap at close range. The blast strikes directly at the rhino's sensory nervous system. 4,000 pounds of muscle pose no threat to the sovereign of the savannah. The rhinoceros retreats, slowly turns, and vanishes into the brush. The confrontation ends without a single drop of blood. The dominion of these giants does not end with the daylight. When darkness descends across the savannah, their presence continues to shape the fate of others in the most unexpected ways. Not far away, a lone male lion, banished from his pride, limps through the night. His body bears the wounds of a brutal territorial war. The once proud king is now wretched and alone. Catching the scent of blood, a cunning clan of spotted hyenas has been trailing him. For this weakened lion, their cackling chorus is a death sentence. Yet the chaos and noise of that life or death struggle inadvertently disturbs a resting elephant herd nearby. Blessed with acutely sensitive hearing, the matriarch grows irritated by the nighttime commotion and leads her family lumbering toward the source of the disturbance. In the darkness, the looming arrival of those towering giants sends the bloodthirsty hyenas scattering, fleeing in panic before the sheer, overwhelming mass. The elephant's casual stroll has become a living shield for the lion. That night, the Lord of the Savannah survives, not by his own fangs, but through the entirely unintentional intervention of the true rulers of this land. But in Chobe, northern Botswana, the relationship between lions and elephants takes on a far darker tone. In the Savuti region, a pride of lions has developed a specialized habit of hunting elephants, a rare behavior documented nowhere else on Earth. Their strategy exploits the darkest nights of the dry season, sowing panic to fracture the herd's formation. Only when a frightened elephant strays from the group do the lions close in. Tonight, an elephant has fallen into the trap. Separated from its family in the chaos, it stands utterly alone, surrounded by shadows hungry for blood. In sheer desperation, it sends infrasonic waves pulsing through the ground, a distress signal rippling for miles like nature's own buried telegraph. But the herd is already too far away. No towering guardian emerges from the darkness to answer. Distance alone has sealed the verdict. Without the protection of the adults, the young elephant's strength slowly drains against the pride's savage strategy of attrition, bite by bite, minute by minute. Overwhelmed by numbers in the darkness, it finally collapses. The hunt ends in victory for the lions. Days later, after the pride has fed and moved on, the elephant herd finally reaches the scene. They have arrived too late. The event was swift, but its aftermath will echo through generations. This grief does not fade. It accumulates, etching itself into the elephant's 11-pound brain, where the temporal lobe stores memories and emotions of profound complexity. Standing before the bleached bones of their fallen companion, the herd performs what can only be called a mourning ritual. They stand in silent vigil, gently touching the remains with their trunks in a gesture of farewell, then carefully cover the bones with earth and branches. This reverence proves that even in a world ruled by fangs and the law of the strong, the end of one life does not erase a presence. CTA. What makes elephants truly great? A memory forged across thousands of years of evolution, or family bonds so deep they transcend even death. CTA. Share your thoughts with Nature's Moments in the comments. What do you find most awe-inspiring about elephants? The savannah is never a stage for one side alone. Sometimes the hunted rewrite the rules entirely. Southwestern Kenya. The Masai Mara greets a herd of Cape buffalo with absolute silence. The kind of silence that only comes before the savannah erupts. A lone buffalo has drifted from the main herd during migration. That solitude creates an opening, and on the Masai Mara, lions never let an opening pass. The pride has been watching for some time, using the headwind to mask their scent as they silently tighten the noose. In the savage crucible of that life or death moment, a bellowing distress called tears through the stillness of the grassland. From beyond the horizon, the ground begins to tremble. Hundreds of buffalo wheel around as one. Before the overwhelming force of that collective fury, the lions have no choice but to abandon the hunt and retreat. Once again, the equation of the savannah tips in favor of those who stand united. Scientific research reveals that Cape buffalo possess a formidable long-term memory. They can recognize individual lions that have attacked their herd and will return to pursue those same enemies days later. A deliberate survival strategy, not blind instinct. Lions and Cape buffalo stand as living proof of the fragile equilibrium nature has maintained across millions of years. In the end, the will to live and the power of solidarity reign supreme on the savannah. Not fangs, not the strength of any single individual, But Africa is more than its savannas. To the north, beyond the Sahel belt, another arena awaits. The Sahara. The greatest arid expanse on Earth stretches across 11 nations, covering more than 3.5 million square miles, an area the size of all of Europe. Despite this brutality, 500 plant species and nearly 300 animal species still call this place home. A sandstorm roars across the dunes, devouring everything in its path. Yet, through that blinding veil, the ship of the desert presses on. The dromedary camel is not merely surviving, it is showcasing a masterwork of evolution sculpted over millions of years. This dead land can wring a full third of the water from its body. For any other creature on Earth, that would be a death sentence. For the camel, it is just another day. The hump, swaying on its back, has never held a single drop of water, despite what legend claims. In truth, it is a dense mass of fat, a sophisticated biological power station ready to convert into both water and nutrients when the desert offers nothing. And when an oasis appears, a spectacular display begins. 29 gallons of water consumed in just 10 minutes. That furious rate of intake would rupture cells and kill any other mammal, but not the camel. The secret hides within every drop of its blood. Instead of round, its red blood cells are oval and flexible. When fully hydrated, these cells can swell to 2.5 times their original size without bursting, a privilege unique in the natural world. When the sun sets, the Sahara transforms. Temperatures plummet dozens of degrees in hours, turning the sand into a vast open freezer. Now, from burrows beneath the sand, the citizens of the night begin to emerge. The fennec fox, the smallest fox in the world, is the Sahara's mobile heat and sound detection unit. Despite its humble frame, nature has equipped it with an outsized survival instrument, enormous ears that make up a full fifth of its body. Those oversized ears detect the faintest vibrations of creatures buried deep beneath the sand, a biological radar operating in total darkness. But in the desert food chain, the fennec fox is also prey. Its hypersensitive ears must stay alert for larger phantoms prowling the night, phantoms that move faster than anything else across the sand. The Saharan cheetah, the rarest and most elusive subspecies of all cheetahs on the planet. With fewer than 250 mature individuals remaining in the wild, they have vanished from the vast majority of their former range. Unlike their savanna cousins, Saharan cheetahs hunt exclusively at night, entirely avoiding the lethal risk of heat exhaustion during the day. Their adaptation reaches an extreme. They replenish water from the blood of their prey, surviving for weeks on end without a single drop of liquid water. The desert has taught them to turn every kill into both food and drink. Day and night trade dominion, but sometimes the Sahara unleashes a punishment more devastating than heat alone, droughts that stretch on as if they might never end. Deeper within the desert, one creature proves that life persists where it seems utterly impossible. From the flooded grasslands of the Okavango, through the blood-soaked battlefields of the Serengeti, to the parched abyss of the Sahara, nature has never stopped testing its children. A lion may reign as king of the grasslands, yet shrinks before the jaws of a hippopotamus or the united might of a Cape buffalo herd. The desert may scorch clay to powder, but it cannot silence the stubborn heartbeat within a crocodile's tomb of dried mud. In the wild, individual strength may win a single day, but adaptation, patience, and the power of the collective, these are the keys to eternity. Dominion is never absolute. Not today, not tomorrow, and it never will be. But there exists a far greater arena of conflict where warfare has raged for millions of years, beneath waves that blanket a third of this planet. That arena is the Pacific Ocean. More than 63 million square miles, larger than all the world's land masses combined, 10 times the size of Russia. One-third of Earth's surface covered by a single ocean, and humanity has explored less than 5% of it. "25,000 islands scattered across its waters, more than any other ocean. 75% of the planet's active volcanoes line its ring of fire. And at its deepest point, Challenger Deep, nearly 36,000 feet beneath the surface sunlight, has never reached. If Mount Everest were placed at the bottom, its summit would still lie submerged by more than a mile. Silver sardines flash into living clouds, spiraling in synchronized motion. Albatrosses glide on the wind for 1,000 miles without a single wing beat. Blue whales, the largest creatures ever to exist, drift through the dark water like phantoms. Its name means peaceful, yet nothing here knows peace. Every coral reef is a fortress. Every stretch of open water is a battlefield, and every abyss is a realm where light itself dares not enter. Just a few feet beneath the surface, a world both dazzling and merciless unfolds. The coral reef, an underwater city where thousands of species battle for every inch of territory. The clownfish, 4 inches long, vivid orange with 3 white bars edged in black, swims among the lethal tentacles of an anemone. A fish everyone knows by name, yet few understand its true nature. Those tentacles can paralyze any creature on contact. Thousands of cnidocyte cells firing toxin in 1,000th of a second. Yet the clownfish is cloaked in a specialized mucus, a chemical armor bestowed by evolution across millions of years. This is perfect symbiosis. The clownfish gains protection within a toxic fortress. The anemone gains a cleaner of parasites and scraps of fallen food. Neither can survive without the other. But within this fortress, an iron hierarchy prevails. Clownfish live under an absolute size-based dominance system. The largest female rules, the largest male ranks second. The rest ranked by every fraction of an inch, larger by even half an inch, and one rises above, smaller, and one falls below. And here is nature's closely guarded secret: every clownfish is born male. All of them, without exception. When the sole female dies, the largest male transforms, becoming female within weeks. Protandrous hermaphrodite. The process is irreversible. The kingdom must never be left without its queen. But make no mistake, the most docile-looking fish on this reef is also a killer of its own kind, without hesitation. Any unfamiliar clownfish that intrudes upon the territory is bitten, chased, and if it does not leave, killed. 4 inches long, yet defending its realm at any cost. A predator glides past its shadow, falling across the coral. The clownfish detects it first. The clownfish vanish into the anemone's tentacles in an instant. Stinging filaments deploy like a wall of fire. The attacker veers away. The fortress holds, as it has held for millions of years. A few feet from the anemone fortress, a small blue fish patrols its territory with a determination that rivals any warrior. The blue tang, roughly 12 inches long, with 2 scalpel-sharp spines concealed at the base of its tail. Normally, these blades lie folded within grooves in the skin, but when threatened, those surgical edges spring outward, capable of inflicting wounds painful enough to make most predators retreat. Yet the blue tang's greatest role is not combat, it is gardening. They control the algae that encrust the coral, keeping the reef able to breathe. Without blue tangs, algae would suffocate the coral, and the entire submerged city would perish. A gardener armed with scalpels, warrior and farmer inhabiting the same body. But something is approaching the reef that no one has detected. No shadow, no sound, nothing at all until it is far too late. The giant Pacific octopus averaging 30 to over 100 pounds. The record exceeding 600 pounds with an arm span nearing 30 feet, moves across the ocean floor. Millions of chromatophore pigment cells in its skin shift color in under 0.2 of a second. Not a few seconds, 0.2 of a second. Faster than the blink of an eye. Accompanied by iridophores producing iridescent hues and papillae, altering skin texture, transforming smooth flesh into the rough grain of stone. Boneless, save for a single keratinous beak, the body can squeeze through any gap just a few inches wide. Camouflage so perfect that no military technology can rival it. The octopus mimics rock, motionless, flawless. Even a fish, swimming mere inches away, fails to detect it. The coral reef is measured in inches territory, contested by fractions of an inch. But in the open ocean, the battlefield spans thousands of miles, and the apex predators are the size of a bus. "20 feet long, over 2 tons. Roughly 300 teeth arranged in 5 to 6 rows, each tooth over 2 inches long, and when one breaks, a replacement rises to take its place, for life. The great white shark, the ocean's most consummate ambush predator, 300 million years of evolution have honed it into a flawless hunting machine. Older than the dinosaurs, older even than trees, and virtually unchanged across all that time. Its sensors form a multi-layered radar system that no human technology can match. Vision spanning nearly 360 degrees with only two small blind spots just ahead of the snout and behind the skull. The lateral line detecting every vibration and pressure change in the water from hundreds of feet away. And the most covert weapon of all, the ampullae of Lorenzini. Hundreds of tiny pores across the snout, detecting the bioelectric fields of every living organism, detecting a single drop of blood in dozens of gallons of water. A heartbeat, a muscle contraction, a nerve impulse, the shark perceives it all. Nothing escapes this biological radar. Farther offshore, the sea surface erupts as hundreds of sleek silver-grey bodies rocket skyward, then crash back down. Common dolphins over 8 feet long, 150 to over 400 pounds, travel in pods ranging from dozens to thousands. Megapods, a phenomenon found only in the Pacific. This is no chaotic swarm. This is an army with commanders, formations, and tactics. Each dolphin possesses a personal name, a signature whistle, a sound unique to that individual and no other in the entire ocean. They call each other by name, remembering the names of companions across decades. Social memory surpassing that of most mammals. Clicks for echolocation, natural sonar painting, a three-dimensional map of the ocean, whistles for communication, moans for emotion. 3 acoustic systems operating simultaneously, like 3 radio channels on a single frequency. When a sardine shoal is detected, the army shifts into attack mode. Formations change in an instant. Encirclement, driving the prey into a bait ball, a shimmering silver sphere spinning amid the open ocean. tail slaps stunning clusters of fish into unconsciousness. Then, feeding in rotation, each dolphin taking its turn through the bait ball, ensuring every member receives a share. Intelligence saves lives, coordination keeps the pod alive, sharing keeps the pod united. But even the ocean's most intelligent army cannot overcome what is now ascending from below a dark shape, larger than anything they have ever faced. In the open ocean, cooperation saves the pod. But beneath the abyss, where light extinguishes entirely, solitude is the only companion. The sperm whale, the largest toothed predator on Earth, each tooth weighs up to 1 pound, with 18 to 26 teeth lining each side of the lower jaw. Over 50 tons, over 50 feet. The head occupying a full third of the body's length, housing the spermaceti organ, a biological apparatus that generates the loudest sound in the animal kingdom. "236 decibels, the sperm whale's click is more powerful than a fighter jet at takeoff." Sufficient to stun prey and map the ocean through total darkness using sound alone. Holding its breath for 90 minutes, diving beyond 7,000 feet deeper than any other mammal, then returning to the surface, sleeping vertically, perfectly still, just below the waterline. "10 to 15 minutes per nap. Only 7% of its lifetime devoted to sleep, the least of any mammal ever recorded." But the most remarkable story of the sperm whale lies not in its power, it lies in maternal devotion. Female pods form matriarchal groups, 6 to 12 individuals in tropical waters, bonds lasting a lifetime, gestation spanning 14 to 16 months longer than any marine species. The males are a different story. They depart the pod between 6 and 10 years of age, swimming thousands of miles toward the poles, alone. Silent, decades in solitude. They return to tropical waters only when fully mature, and male sperm whales do not reach maturity until 25, sometimes 50 years of age. A long life, but most of it spent alone. Extreme dimorphism. Males exceed 50 tons, females around 15, more than 3 times the difference. When the males return, they are giants among the pod. An enormous blue shape glides beneath the surface, slow, majestic, as though the ocean itself were drawing breath. The blue whale, the largest creature ever to exist on this planet, surpassing every dinosaur, exceeding everything evolution has produced in 4 billion years of life. Lengths exceeding 90 feet, weight surpassing 300,000 pounds. The tongue alone weighs as much as an adult elephant. The aorta is wide enough for a small child to crawl through. The heart, the size of a golf cart, beats just twice per minute during deep dives. Each beat pumps over 53 gallons of blood. Its heartbeat can be detected from 2 miles away. Their call, 188 decibels, the loudest sound produced by any animal on Earth. Louder than a jet engine. So low in frequency that the human ear cannot perceive it, yet the sound travels across entire oceans from one shore of the Pacific to the other. Before humans flooded the seas with the noise of shipping, 2 blue whales could converse across a distance of more than 1,000 miles. There were once more than 350,000. Industrial whaling in the 20th century slaughtered nearly 99% of them. Fewer than 25,000 remain across all the world's oceans. But even the most magnificent creature is not invincible. An orcapod has assembled a superpod surrounding the whale, taking turns pursuing, biting fins, biting flukes, then swimming atop its back to force the blowhole beneath the surface. The attack documented at Bremer Bay, Western Australia, published in the journal Marine Mammal Science in 2022, confirmed that orcas can bring down even a healthy adult blue whale. The largest creature of all time drowned by its own distant relatives. After the battle, the ocean falls silent. Blood dissolves into the water. Waves erase every trace, as though nothing had occurred. But tranquility is an illusion. The next battle has already begun somewhere across more than 63 million square miles of ocean. The Pacific Ocean, an arena of biodiversity without parallel. Hundreds of thousands of invertebrate species. Roughly 80 species of marine mammals. And countless species that science has yet to name. Where the Carpathian Mountains stand sentinel, the domain of a legendary hunter reveals itself. The grey wolf reigns with its resonant howl echoing through ancient forests. This wolf species is renowned for a pack structure that is remarkably tight-knit and sophisticated. Each member assumes a distinct role under the guidance of the lead pair. They govern with experience and determination to safeguard the survival of the entire family. From the legend of Rome's founder, nursed by a she-wolf, to the frozen, moonlit nights of Eastern Europe, the wolf has always symbolized unwavering loyalty to the pack. In temperate forests, the grey wolf is a master of coordinated hunting tactics. They rely on far more than muscular strength. A pack can pursue a target with tireless persistence over a distance exceeding 12 miles. The wolf's dentition delivers a bite force of approximately 400 psi, sufficient to crush the bones of the largest prey with ease. In early 2026, the European Commission recorded a stable recovery of the continent's wolf population, exceeding 20,000 individuals. The Life Wolf Alps project supports herders in using traditional livestock guardian dog breeds. The image of the grey wolf beneath moonlight will endure forever as the emblem of courage and the tenacious wild spirit of Europe. Within those same ancient forests, a solitary and even more imposing figure holds dominion. The brown bear, the quiet sovereign of the dense woodlands, it plays a pivotal role in the temperate ecosystem as a keystone species. With colossal muscle mass across its shoulders and long claws, the brown bear is a masterful excavator. Its diet is remarkably varied, for it is an extraordinarily versatile omnivore. Yet the most striking feature is its deep winter dormancy. When wild berries and prey grow scarce, the brown bear opts to suspend all activity. Its metabolic rate drops to the barest minimum. The heart rate can fall from 40 beats per minute to roughly 8. The body consumes fat reserves accumulated through summer and autumn to maintain only the most essential function. In the Carpathians, particularly in Romania, bear populations have reached record levels. However, expanding human settlements have led to increasingly complex interactions. Mother bears are fiercely devoted, protecting and teaching their cubs throughout the first 2 years of life. The image of the brown bear sleeping through winter and awakening in spring is a symbol of patience and the power of renewal. In the sun-drenched Mediterranean, a diminutive legend is gradually returning from the ashes. The Iberian lynx, the rarest wild cat on Earth. They can be found only on the Iberian Peninsula, spanning Spain and Portugal. Their identifying features are unmistakable. The Iberian lynx sports a thick ruff of fur, framing its face like a luminous mane of whiskers. This structure helps the lynx pinpoint prey amid dense scrubland. They specialize in hunting the European rabbit, a food source that constitutes up to 90% of their diet. Across the same venerable continent, in the pages of ancient tales, the red fox has always appeared as a figure of cunning wit in the fables of Aesop. The red fox possesses an extraordinary capacity for adaptation. It thrives from dense coniferous forests to bustling modern metropolises like London and Berlin. Recent research data reveals a fascinating trend. Red foxes living in certain European cities are undergoing subtle changes in skull structure, optimizing their foraging ability in artificial environments. This creature continues to glide silently through gardens and parks, carrying the soul of ancient stories into the rhythm of modern life. Amid that bustle, the frozen north bears the title of Europe's last true wilderness. This is the homeland of Father Christmas, where snow blankets the taiga forests of Scandinavia. Beneath the luminous aurora borealis, the reindeer emerges as a biological marvel of the Arctic. They undertake immense migrations across the tundra, covering distances approaching 2,000 miles each year, among the longest terrestrial journeys in the animal kingdom. The most distinctive feature is the antler set. This is the only species in the deer family in which both males and females bear antlers. Yet the timing of antler shedding differs to serve survival. Males lose their antlers after the mating season in early winter. Females retain theirs until spring, when they give birth. This mechanism allows the female to defend feeding areas against larger males. The hooves are a masterwork of engineering. In summer, the hoof pad is soft for grip on soggy taiga ground. When winter arrives, the pad contracts to expose sharp edges, and the hooves expand to distribute weight like true snowshoes. Yet the most wondrous adaptation of all reindeer can change their eye color with the seasons. In summer, the tapetum lucidum reflects a golden glow beneath the midnight sun. As the polar night descends, this layer shifts to deep blue. The change heightens sensitivity to blue light and ultraviolet radiation, enabling them to detect threats in near total darkness. However, climate change is creating new challenges. Rain-on-snow events are increasing rainwater freezes atop snow to form a rigid ice layer, preventing reindeer from digging through to the lichen beneath. The role of the Sami people in Lapland has never been more critical. They manage their herds using the traditional cedar system, coupled with modern satellite positioning technology to guide animals to safe grazing areas. If you find the wonders of the natural world as fascinating as we do, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you cast your gaze toward the sheer cliffs along the North Atlantic coast, you will encounter the Atlantic puffin. This bird carries the nickname the clown of the ocean. That name originates from its triangular beak, ablaze with vivid color during the breeding season, a masterpiece of adaptive design. Those radiant colors help attract mates and establish rank within the colony. When the breeding season ends, the colorful outer plates shed away, revealing a smaller beak in a muted gray tone. The Atlantic puffin can dive to depths of 200 feet below the surface to pursue prey. Its wings function as powerful oars underwater. The tongue and palate are lined with small, backward-facing spines which grip captured fish securely while the bird opens its beak to catch more. They excavate deep burrows in coastal cliffs to lay eggs and rear their chicks. In Iceland and Norway, the puffin is a symbol of resilience and optimism. Even when confronting savage maritime storms, they maintain an unyielding spirit. Across the ocean, South America unveils a biological wonderland drenched in color. From the abundance of the Amazon rainforest to the snow-capped peaks of the Andes, the ecosystem here is a web of life staggering in its complexity. And upon those cloud-piercing summits, the sky belongs to the Andean condor. This is the heaviest flying bird on Earth when body size and weight are considered together. With a wingspan exceeding 10 feet, they are supreme masters of soaring flight. The Andean condor can sustain its aerial journey for hours without a single wing beat. In the Inca worldview, the condor is the embodiment of the sky god Hanan Pacha. Andean communities believe this sacred bird carries the souls of the departed to paradise. Descending from those celestial heights, the journey plunges into the heart of the rainforest, where a creature the Maya called Balam, spirit of darkness, awaits. The Jaguar, the tireless traveler between light and shadow, between life and the realm beyond. The Maya believed that only the jaguar possessed the strength and wisdom to penetrate the dense forest canopy and enter the world of the ancestors. The jaguar's evolutionary journey is an epic tale of migration. The genus Panthera did not originate in the Americas. Its ancestors set out from Asia roughly 2 million years ago, crossing the Bering Land Bridge. Upon reaching this new world, the jaguar confronted an unfamiliar ecosystem teeming with hard-shelled creatures such as ancestral tortoises, giant constrictors, and caiman. It was precisely that survival pressure that drove the evolution of a skull structure unique among the world's felids. Many confuse the jaguar with the African leopard because of similar spotted markings. However, the jaguar belongs to the subfamily Pantherinae and shares a closer kinship with the lion. Its most formidable weapon is bite force, the strongest among all big cats relative to body size. Pressure can reach nearly 7,000 newtons at the carnassial teeth. A short, broad skull optimizes the leverage of powerful jaw muscles. Rather than targeting the throat, the jaguar strikes directly at the temporal bone, piercing the skull of prey or the thick shell of a tortoise with devastating ease. Unlike most cats that avoid water, the jaguar embraces the aquatic environment. They are gifted swimmers, capable of crossing rivers more than half a mile wide in search of food. And the capybara, the largest rodent on Earth, is among the jaguar's most frequent targets. Yet, in the absence of predators, this creature wears an entirely different face. They are beloved as the peace ambassadors of the animal kingdom, thanks to their supremely gentle and sociable temperament. Weighing between 77 and 146 pounds, capybaras inhabit wetlands and riverbanks. Their partially webbed feet enable swift swimming and deep dives when danger threatens. They live in large groups, communicating through barks, whistles, and low murmurs. Capybaras even permit other species, from birds to monkeys, to perch upon their backs. That image has captivated millions of nature lovers around the world. Children and young people everywhere adore their carefree personality through viral moments of interspecies harmony. A curious historical detail: in the 17th century, the Catholic Church classified the capybara as a fish due to its aquatic lifestyle. In Venezuela, it remains a permitted food during Lent to this day. With its unmistakable appearance, the toucan is the most radiant representative of the tropical rainforest. Despite its seemingly heavy bill, the beak is remarkably light. The secret lies in its spongy internal structure, encased in a thin layer of keratin, an architecture that mirrors aerospace engineering. The beak also serves a critical survival function: thermoregulation. The toucan voluntarily adjusts blood flow through its bill to release heat when ambient temperature rises. This is a superb adaptation to the hot and humid Amazon climate. The beak operates on the same principle as an elephant's ears, but on the body of a bird. In Lakota culture, the bison is the incarnation of Wakan Tanka, the Great Spirit. Their ancestors drew lessons of courage from this animal. The American bison is the largest land mammal in North America. An adult bull can weigh up to 2,000 pounds and stand over 6 feet tall at the shoulder. A massive muscular hump across the shoulders provides the force for its head to sweep aside thick layers of snow, a vital foraging strategy during winter. Its thick, dense brown coat serves as armor, enabling it to endure temperatures plunging to -22 degrees Fahrenheit. In summer, they migrate to high valleys above 8,000 feet in the Rocky Mountains, seeking young, nutrient-rich pastures. That body allowed them to survive for millennia. Yet they were nearly obliterated entirely by the slaughter of the late 19th century. It was the persistent effort of native peoples that changed the fate of this sacred animal. Samuel Walking Coyote rescued the last orphaned calves to preserve the bloodline. Later, the founding of the Intertribal Buffalo Council affirmed the leadership of native peoples in genetic conservation and the return of bison to ancestral lands. The recovery of the bison is both a biological victory and a potent spiritual rebirth. When the rhythmic thunder of hooves returns to the grasslands, sacred ceremonies such as the sun dance are also awakened with their original vitality. Bringing the bison home means healing historical wounds and restoring sustainable food sovereignty for indigenous nations. Meanwhile, for certain tribes of the Rocky Mountain region, the puma is the true guardian of sacred borders. They call this animal the ghost of the mountains, for its presence is silent yet filled with authority. This is the big cat with the broadest range on the continent, stretching from Canada to the southern reaches of South America. The puma possesses a body perfectly engineered for a solitary hunting life. Its long, powerful hind legs allow it to leap up to 18 feet in a single bound. It also reaches a top speed of roughly 50 miles per hour over short distances. However, it cannot roar like a lion or tiger because its hyoid bone is fully ossified. Instead, that rigid structure helps it produce high-frequency sounds, whistles, or calls resembling bird song. These sounds propagate more efficiently through complex terrain without betraying the hunter's position. In Navajo culture, the puma bears the name Nash-Doitso, the guardian deity of borders and a symbol of self-mastery. They believe the greatest power does not reside in the roar, it resides in silence and the capacity for absolute control. Descending from the peaks where the puma hides, the journey enters the dense valleys and river systems of Alaska. This is the kingdom of the grizzly bear, the emblem of raw power in the far north. Do not let its bulk deceive the senses. An adult grizzly weighing nearly 900 pounds can sprint at 35 miles per hour. They are also masterful salmon hunters. Summer is the period of maximum energy accumulation. This giant consumes tens of thousands of calories each day from wild berries and animal protein. After building a thick layer of fat, they enter deep winter dormancy. The heart rate drops sharply to conserve energy, a wondrous mechanism of survival. For the Haida and Tlingit peoples, the grizzly is regarded as a creature of high intelligence with a direct connection to the soul of the continent. Shamans invoke the bear's image in ceremonies to commune with Mother Earth. While the grizzly commands the valleys below, the sky registers the silhouette of yet another sovereign. The bald eagle. Beyond its role as the national symbol of the United States, this bird is honored as the messenger of the sky. Indigenous peoples believe the eagle carries their prayers to the Creator. The eagle feather is the most sacred object in ceremonies of empowerment. To present someone with an eagle feather is the noblest ritual of honoring courage. The single most important feature keeping the bald eagle at the apex of the predatory hierarchy is its eyes. It can detect a swimming fish from a distance exceeding 1 mile while soaring high above. Its wingspan reaches up to 7.5 feet, generating immense lift. A set of razor-sharp talons delivers a crushing grip, the ultimate survival weapon for seizing slippery prey such as salmon. Its nest is known as an eyrie, the largest tree-borne nest structure in the avian world. A typical eyrie can weigh nearly 1 ton. A mated pair of bald eagles typically maintains a lifelong bond of fidelity. They return to the same nest year after year, adding material to their shared home. From the eagle's wings, gazing down upon the entire planet, 6 worlds emerge as one seamless canvas. In Europe, the red deer, among the largest deer species on Earth, embodies enduring, majestic beauty. Males possess enormous antlers capable of growing nearly 1 inch per day during the peak spring period. During the mating season, their resonant bellowing through the morning mist is the signature sound of autumn across Europe. Antler clashes demand stamina and pinpoint tactical precision. Today, scientists are deploying intelligent wildlife crossing systems, enabling deer to move safely across busy traffic corridors in Eastern Europe. Each continent carries its own conservation legacy, from the lion guardians of Africa and the life wolf Alps of Europe to the intertribal Buffalo Council of North America. Animals serve as living shields, protecting the cultural identity of indigenous peoples against the tides of change. Six worlds, 18 symbols. One reminder to look at them is to glimpse the most primal essence of what it means to be human. That roar never ceases. It merely changes continents. Thank you for joining Nature's Moments. The natural world still holds countless untold stories. We will see you on the next journey. But not all power in nature belongs to the strongest. There exists a place on Earth so vast, so ancient, and so chaotic that raw muscular strength becomes almost meaningless. A place where even the most fearsome predators must submit to an invisible force they can neither see nor resist. Welcome to the Amazon rainforest, 2.6 million square miles of wild tropical jungle. This is no peaceful green garden. This is the most brutal battleground for survival on the planet. Beneath the darkened canopy, millions of organisms compete for every sliver of living space. Here, the adaptable survive. The vulnerable are consumed. And within this colossal biological engine, one question has always persisted. Who truly rules the Amazon? To find the answer, we will not look upward to the top of the food chain. We will cast our gaze down to the very bottom where true power is quietly forged. Because in the Amazon, size has never been the measure of strength. In this emerald kingdom, organization is the supreme weapon. Beneath the thick layer of decaying leaves on the Amazon floor, an empire operates. Silent, disciplined, and more numerous than any army in human history. Leafcutter ants are nature's original farmers. Tens of millions of years before humans learned to cultivate, they had already domesticated fungi. Every day, millions of leafcutter ants leave the colony, climb tree trunks, slice leaf fragments with surgical precision, and carry them back on their bodies. But they do not eat the leaves. They grow their food. The leaves are chewed into pulp, mixed with saliva, then spread across fungal beds in a tunnel system deep underground. The fungus grows on this decomposing substrate, and that is the true meal for the entire colony. The first agriculture on this planet did not belong to humans. It belonged to an insect weighing less than 1/10 of a gram. A single leafcutter colony can number up to 8 million individuals, 8 million organisms functioning as a single body. And at the center of this empire, a single queen. The leafcutter queen lives 14 to 20 years. Over her lifetime, she produces more than 150 million daughters. $150 million. No creature on Earth, including humans, can generate a lineage that vast within a single lifetime. Every ant knows its exact role. Sentinel, cutter, transporter, fungus farmer. None needs teaching, none needs reminding. No central brain, no verbal commands, only pheromones. Pheromones, the chemical signals each ant secretes, are the invisible language of the empire. A single pheromone trail coordinates hundreds of thousands of individuals simultaneously, more precise than any communication system humans have ever devised. Each year, the colony processes tons of soil, excavating, aerating, recycling nutrients across the entire forest floor. Without ants, the Amazon's soil would suffocate. But the underground empire does not consist only of farmers. There are also invaders. Army ants are the perfect antithesis of the leafcutter. Where leafcutters build, army ants destroy. A single army ant raid mobilizes up to 200,000 individuals. They pour across the forest floor like a black river, stretching over 200 meters, obliterating everything in their path. Insects, spiders, scorpions, even small lizards, nothing escapes this army.
In the jungle, survival is a brutal battle.
The rustling of hundreds of thousands of tiny legs across dead leaves is the last sound many creatures ever hear. Army ants build no permanent nests. They construct bivouacs, living structures assembled from thousands of ants locking their legs together. This living wall shields the queen and larvae through the night. When dawn arrives, the bivouac dismantles. The army marches again. No rest, no negotiation, no borders. Whether building or destroying, this is not mere instinct. This is the mathematics of evolution honed across tens of millions of years, more refined than any governance system ever conceived. If the jaguar is the symbol of power in the Amazon, then ants are the foundation keeping the entire forest running. Strength does not reside in size. It resides in organization. But the ground is only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the water, a world far more terrifying awaits, where power is measured not by fangs or claws, but by something entirely invisible. Up to 8 feet long, weighing nearly 44 pounds. It looks more like a rotting log than a predator, but appearances deceive. This is the electric eel, and it carries within its body a weapon no other species on Earth possesses. The electric eel is not, in truth, an eel at all. It belongs to the order Gymnotiformes, the knifefish more closely related to catfish and carp. The name eel is a centuries-old mistake. The elongated shape fooled everyone. Biologically, it is an entirely different animal. Inside the electric eel's body lie 3 separate electrical organs: the main organ, Sachs organ, and Hunter's organ. Each organ serves a distinct purpose, and this division of function stands as evidence of millions of years of evolutionary refinement. Sachs's organ emits weak electrical pulses, 10 to 100 volts, not for attack but to see. This is a biological sonar system. Electrical waves radiate outward, bounce off surrounding objects, and paint a 3-dimensional map of the underwater environment. In the opaque water where ordinary eyes are useless, the electric eel perceives the world through its electric field. Every organism passing through creates a disturbance, and the eel detects it. When the target enters range, hunting mode engages. "80% of its body consists of cells stacked upon each other like thousands of batteries. When the command fires, all discharge simultaneously. A massive electrical pulse surges through the murky water. The prey has no time to react. Muscles lock. The nervous system shuts down. The contest ends in milliseconds. For larger targets, The electric eel coils its body around the victim like a tightening electromagnet, doubling the intensity of the lethal strike. No claws, no fangs. Power in the Amazon is sometimes completely invisible. But the electric eel is not the only creature making the Amazon River deadly. There is another army far smaller, but 1,000 times more numerous. When people mention piranhas, Hollywood has built a legend, a ravenous school capable of stripping a cow to bone in minutes. That legend is almost entirely false. The red-bellied piranha Pygocentris natureri reaches a maximum of about 13 inches, weighing roughly 7.5 pounds, far smaller than the movies suggest. But do not confuse size with power. The piranha's teeth are among the most perfect weapons evolution has ever produced. Triangular, razor-sharp, interlocking like scissor blades. Bite force relative to body size ranks among the strongest in the freshwater fish world. But the scientific truth is more surprising than any horror film. Piranhas are primarily scavengers. Most of the time they feed on carrion, insects that fall into the water, seeds, even algae. The cinematic killer Hollywood invented? It barely exists. Feeding frenzies, collective feeding explosions, are exceedingly rare. They occur only when piranhas are desperately starved or when dropping water levels crowd hundreds into shallow pools. In reality, piranhas are rather timid. They typically avoid large objects, and most of their lives pass in caution rather than aggression. Piranhas possess a lateral line system running along both flanks, detecting vibrations in the water with remarkable precision. When a piranha is wounded, chemical signals disperse through the water. The entire school reacts immediately not to cannibalize, but to mount a collective defense. Piranha teeth shed and regrow throughout their lives, always sharp, always ready. Evolution equipped them with a self-repairing arsenal. Hundreds of small brains, connected through chemistry and vibration, reacting in an instant. They act as a single organism. The piranha's true role is not killer. They are the sanitation crew clearing carcasses, preventing disease, keeping the river healthy. Without piranhas, animal carcasses would accumulate. Bacteria would bloom. Thousands of other fish species would perish from epidemic disease. The razor-toothed army keeps the river clean so that life may continue. But there is one predator that hunts piranhas as though they were easy prey, a hunter that preys upon the cleaners themselves. The giant otter Pteronura brasiliensis, the longest otter species in the world. "6 feet from nose to tail, 48 to 75 pounds of pure muscle." IUCN classifies them as endangered. The fur trade of the 20th century nearly erased this species from existence. Today, mercury contamination from artisanal gold mining, deforestation, and dam construction continue to threaten the remaining populations. Their future hangs by a thread. But in the river stretches where they still endure, giant otters are the one adversary nobody wants to face. They hunt in groups 3 to 8 or more, moving in synchrony underwater at speeds around 9 miles per hour. A double-layered, waterproof coat keeps their bodies warm in cold currents. Not a single drop of water touches the skin beneath. The giant otter's call pierces through heavy jungle. Each individual possesses a unique vocalization, an acoustic fingerprint. Researchers have documented more than 20 distinct sound types, from warning barks to hunting screams. Complex group communication, precise cooperative hunting. This is not a wild animal pack. This is a tactical unit. When hunting fish, the group fans out in a line, driving schools into shallow water. Each otter holds a position like players on a pitch. Each day, a single giant otter consumes 6 to 9 pounds of fish. Multiply that across the group, the quantity of fish vanishing daily is staggering. And here lies the most remarkable fact. Giant otters hunt piranhas. The cleaners become the prey. The piranha's razor teeth become meaningless against the speed, coordination, and bite force of the otter. The hunter that hunts the creature everyone fears. But piranhas are not the most formidable opponent. Giant otters confront even black caimans, the largest predator in the Amazon basin. When facing a black caiman, the entire otter group surrounds it, lunging in to bite from multiple directions, creating chaos. The caiman, despite outweighing them tenfold, is overwhelmed by coordination. A group of 20 otters can force a black caiman into retreat. The collective defeats the individual. Numbers plus discipline outweigh solitary strength. That is, the law giant otters have proven across millions of years. The one who controls the river might seem to hold supreme power. But the Amazon is not only water. Where water meets land, muddy riverbanks, submerged root systems, darkness beneath the canopy, the true rulers finally emerge. Who do you think truly rules the Amazon? Share your thoughts in the comments below. But the most terrifying chapter has yet to begin. At the riverbank, where water meets land, 3 of the planet's most powerful predators share a single territory. Three apex predators, 3 creatures strong enough to kill anything, and none willing to yield. The first has been here since before the dinosaurs vanished. It is the immortal shadow of the Amazon. The black caiman Melanosuchus niger, the largest crocodilian in the Amazon basin. Adults reach 16 to 20 feet, weighing several hundred pounds. Jet black skin not by accident. In the blackwater regions of the Amazon, where tannins from decaying leaves stain the river the color of dark tea, the black caiman disappears completely. Perfect camouflage. The predator becomes the darkness, and darkness never warns before it strikes. The black caiman's eyes see through the dark courtesy of the tapetum lucidum, reflecting the faintest light, turning pitch-black night into broad daylight. It lies motionless for hours, only its eyes and nostrils breaking the surface. Patience is the strategy, time is the ally. After feeding, the black caiman can fast for weeks, even months. A metabolic rate slowed to perfection across millions of years transforms each meal into a long-term investment. In the 20th century, the black caiman nearly vanished. The hide trade pushed them to the brink of extinction. CITES Appendix 1. The highest level of protection was the last lifeline keeping this species from the abyss. Today, populations have recovered tens of thousands of individuals in the wild, primarily within protected reserves. But the future remains fragile. The black caiman has survived 65 million years of upheaval through ice ages, through the extinction of the dinosaurs. Ancient, patient, nearly invincible, but even the black caiman has something to fear. In the darkness where submerged roots tangle beneath the surface, another creature waits, more silent, more patient, and possessing the purest brute force in the reptile world. The green Anaconda Eunectes murinus, the heaviest snake on Earth. Reaching 20 feet in length, a body as thick as a tree trunk, heavier than any serpent that has ever lived. The anaconda is the supreme ambush specialist. Eyes and nostrils positioned atop the head, allowing it to lie almost completely submerged, exposing only 2 tiny points above the waterline. Prey never sees it coming until it is too late. When the anaconda strikes, it does not bite to kill. It constricts. Coil after coil of solid muscle wraps around the victim, and with every exhalation the coils tighten. But the killing mechanism is not suffocation as long believed. Modern research by Dr. Scott Bobak has demonstrated that death comes from circulatory arrest. The crushing pressure sends blood pressure soaring. The heart can no longer pump. Internal organs fail. Within minutes, the prey dies not from lack of air, but because the blood stops flowing. Circulatory arrest. A silent death, efficient and more merciless than any venom. Once the prey is dead, the anaconda dislocates its lower jaw. The bones can separate entirely and swallows the victim whole, often consuming animals larger than itself. The swallowing process can take hours. The anaconda's entire body distorts, stretching and bending around the prey like a living sack. A single large meal can sustain an anaconda for weeks, even months. During that time, it lies motionless, digesting slowly, invisible among roots and mud. Safe in the water, sluggish on land. The anaconda is a creature of two worlds, but truly dangerous only when water is the battlefield. Silent, patient, overwhelming force. The anaconda needs no speed. It needs only a single opportunity.